Yo, people, what's going on? Welcome along to Eagle Eyed Football. This is the key game season review 21-22. It's your boy Nate, it's Statman Dan. The pair of us have got nothing better to do this Sunday afternoon, so we figured, you know what? Let's talk some football and some stats and give you guys a review of the season that just was the 2021-22 season. So before we begin, Dan, how you doing, my bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I've had a nice weekend. How have you been?
Yeah, not bad. Champions League final was something else. It
Hmm.
was interesting. And obviously, the playoff final has just ended. Congratulations to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
Commiserations to
congrats,
Huddersfield
Nots.
Town. It's going to be interesting to see Nottingham Forest play in the Premier League. First time since
Yeah,
the 90s, I
definitely.
think they've been in the league. So,
Yeah.
that's a very big moment for them. But we'll just quickly jump into the comments here before we kick off. And we have Louis, who's giving us a nice big wave. How you doing, mate? Luke is saying Forest away next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Forest away. That's gonna be on the list, definitely.
yeah. We've got the chairman saying afternoon, guys. Big up to you, Neil.
Yes, big up.
But so basically, myself and Dan decided, you know what? It's all well and good talking about the season that was, as we did on Friday's show. But let's go a little bit more in detail and show just point out a few things about certain games across the season. So Dan, let's kick things off. The fixtures come out in June, and we notice a very strange thing happened. Four London derbies in a row.
Hmm. Yeah.
Chelsea away, Brentford at home, West Ham away, and Tottenham at home for our first four games of the Premier League campaign. Now, on the face of it, I think you and I would have looked at that and thought lose to Chelsea, lose to Spurs, maybe beat Brentford, and more than likely draw or lose to West Ham.
Yeah, I think so. Especially with Brentford being the promoted team,
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea and Spurs. We also having terrible records against Chelsea and Spurs, and then like you say, West Ham's always one of those games. We always seem to do okay in it. So
Yeah. Well, let's start with Chelsea because obviously Patrick Vieira is the manager. We've gone through a lengthy rebuild where we didn't know what to expect. So how on earth could anybody else?
mm,
Um, it finished 3-0 to Chelsea. Fairly comfortable performance for them. Fairly um, flat performance by us. We weren't really clicking into gear. It was very much first game jitters. But tell us a few things about the game that some people may have overlooked or maybe missed out on. So what was Chelsea away like from a stat perspective?
So yeah, so like you said, yeah, so I had a look back into this and I didn't realise, but we actually played a 4-4-2 that game with Jordan Ayew as right wing, Jeff Schlupp left wing, and Riedewald in the centre of midfield, which is obviously not something that we saw very much this season. Another
Mm,
thing I thought was very interesting, I think is something that Vieira does want to go, but I think maybe this was too early. Like when the time comes, I think he will continue to do this more. But he actually started. He actually started with four under 21 players on the bench.
mm.
Sorry, four of the under 21. Yeah, four of the under 21 players.
Yeah, the
Reese
23s.
Hannum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Reese Hannum, JRS, Banks, and Rob Street were all on the bench. JRS obviously came on
He did.
towards the end. Yeah, he did towards the end of the game. But I think, like you say, I don't know whether it was first jitters, but you did always have that worry: are we returning or are we continuing on with Roybal? Because we created 0.3 expected goals in that game, which from a chance creation point of view, that's not very good. That's terrible. And there was
Mm.
only one shot on target in that game. So
Wow.
so
I
it
mean, it's
wasn't.
Chelsea away, so it's not really a shock
Yeah,
if you're not going to be popping off shots left and right. But
well, that's it. Like you say, it could be first season, first jitters, and at the end of the day, Chelsea away is going to be one of the hardest games of the season, probably after
for sure.
Liverpool and Man City away. So it's
Well,
like you
we'll come
say,
to
it's
we'll come
mixed.
to those games in a little bit. They're still to come.
Mm.
But so yeah, 3-0 to Chelsea, and I think most people were just happy that yeah we lost and we lost to the better team, but we got a hard game out of the way first. Because the last
Mm.
thing we'd want to do is have Chelsea away come the end of the season, where you might be fighting for points and fighting to stay up. We got a massively hard game out of the way, first game of the season, and if you lose first game of the season, it's not damage limitation remotely at all. It's more a case of okay, that was not great, but there's still time to turn it around.
Yeah, exactly. But like you say, you want to get it done, you want to get it sorted, and let's be honest, we were never expecting to get 3 points out of that anyway. So
mm, well, a point would have been a bonus. I mean, let's be fair here. So
yeah,
next game at home, we faced Thomas Frank's Bees, who won promotion to the Premier League, beating who did they beat in the playoff final last season? Swansea. They beat Swansea in the
yeah,
final last season.
Swansea, yeah,
Um, and I think most people naively would have expected us to slap Brentford, but we know as a team that's won the playoffs before, it's the best way to go up because everybody thinks that you're going to be the whipping boys, but you've literally had to go through 3 extra games to get into the Premier League.
hmm
You know, it's a 49 game season if you come up through the playoffs. So um, I think the draw was a fair result because they cracked the bar, we cracked the bar. Neither team gave an inch. And obviously, it's disappointing to not win first home game of the season and draw with a newly promoted side. But bear in mind, this Brentford side would go on to draw with Liverpool at
hmm
home. They beat
Well,
Arsenal at home. So do you know what I mean?
yeah,
they're no mugs. Do you know what I mean? And I kind
well,
of felt we got to be careful trying to write off these teams. I don't mean to cut you off. I'll let you land in a second, Dan. But you know what I'm
no,
saying.
so yeah,
Looking at it, okay, from a fan perspective, we're thinking, well, that's a pretty bad result. But when you look at it, you're like, well, hang on a minute. They're actually half decent.
yeah, no,
Floor is
exactly,
yours,
and
Dan.
like.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, and then like I was just gonna say because I mean I've got us down as having made 0.3 expected goals, which again from like a chance creation standpoint, that's not great. But when you actually look at the season Brentford have had, only the top six, us and Brighton had. Oops, sorry, I swore.
No, it's
Had
okay. End of season.
conceded conceded
Dan, the
fewer.
rule is during the season we don't say the word. After that, you can say it.
Oh, okay, all right, fair
Look,
enough.
we got
Then
to
all
give
right, that
ourselves a
makes
break at
sense.
some point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I mean, what if I just want to go spend a day down at the beach? What do I say then? I don't know. But
Just go,
the
yeah, that place,
that place,
that place at the end of the
the
railway line.
the dark shadowy place you shouldn't go. But
Yeah, Mordor. Oh
exactly.
wait, no, sorry,
Um,
that's another word we don't say. The M word, Bermondsey territory. That word. But yeah, sorry, Dan, I keep cutting you off. My apologies. Go ahead.
It's fine. But I mean, Brentford they've got the ninth best. Uh, they're the ninth best in terms of conceding chances in the league after the
Hmm.
top six, us and Brighton. So they've obviously had a very good season. They're very good at limiting teams down to that. This
Hmm.
game, like from a tactical point of view, this is the first time that Anderson and Gay played together in this game.
Mm.
Um, and interestingly, this was the first time we used our 4-3-3 as well. And we had Schlupp at left wing and Zaha at right wing, which obviously now coming towards the end of the season, we're like, hang on a minute. But I did do some,
Yeah.
yeah, I did do some digging. But Elise was out injured at the time because I think he came to us slightly injured.
Yeah, I
And
remember he had a
Edward,
back injury, I think it was.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and Edward hadn't actually signed for us by this point. It wasn't until after the West Ham game that he actually signed for us. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like you say, at the time I was disappointed with that result. But looking back on it now, I don't think it was that. I think Brentford are just a good team that uh, are good at stopping teams play their game. I think.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So next game, Carabao Cup draw comes out, and we're all excited because we don't know who we're going to get, who we're going to play. Obviously, it's been split between North and South, and
Mm,
now that it's South teams in the South play teams in the South, so we're not going to be doing Newcastle away, Poxy, 900
thank
mile trip
God.
up to the northeast. And to be fair to Newcastle, they don't have to do the reverse trip down to us.
Well,
Watford
exactly.
away. Um, Now, obviously, Watford are newly promoted. Um, Obviously, there's a bit of needle there from their fans to ours. They don't really like us. We're kind of indifferent to them. They're just a yellow and black Charlton, aren't they? Really, like they're just there,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah. That pretends that they're in London. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. Vieira went with a very weird lineup, from what I recall of this game. It wasn't the
That
conventional lineup we were expecting.
No, not at all. I mean, he did a bit of a Pardiola thing by putting James Tompkins at right back.
Okay, careful. That's a sin bin offence saying that name on the channel. Careful now, Dan. I don't want to hear this Guardiola business, but no, go ahead.
Oh, don't worry. It was an ironic Guardiola. It was an ironic
thank
one.
the Lord.
He's oh no. He's definitely he's no bloody good, is he?
Bruv, he's dead food. You know, he's identical to how he was as a player.
Yeah, he's a chancer.
He can look good on his day, but his day only comes once in a blue or a green moon. That's how he was. do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, 1-0 loss. Ashley Fletcher goal late into the second half, and it was. Do you know what? It was kind of funny. Like, do you know what? Let them have it, because if you're losing the Carabao Cup early in the rounds, you're indifferent to it. You're like, well, that's disappointing, but it's less games as well.
Yeah, I think that too. Like, the League Cup for me has always been one of those ones that, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if we got to the final, like, obviously, when we got to the semis, I was all for it. However many years ago that was now, and obviously, if we got to the final
now, that's 10 years ago, believe it or not.
10 years ago. Wow, where's the time gone?
Because it was the season before we got promoted. That's how I remember it. Because we weren't particularly great the season before we got promoted. But the cup run got us all, and then Anthony Gardner decided to go full blown Anthony Gardner. It's like, and you wonder why the fan base weren't crying when you left. We couldn't wait to see the back of you, and you're saying, "Oh, Palace won't go up next season." How'd that work out, mate?
Blast from the past. But I remember playing that semi-final. I just remember, I don't even remember making a single chance. I literally don't. But I mean, yeah, like I said, the League Cup's one of those ones. Like, honestly, in my honest opinion, I think it should be scrapped because I think it's a bit of a waste of time. But that's a debate for another day.
Yeah. So JC just said, "Big up, lads," and he says, "Beating them in pre-season and then losing in that fashion with JP not scoring his chances was a letdown point of the season for me." I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But to be fair, you can't look at pre-season as a barometer for how well you're going to do. Bear in mind, Jez scored like 2-3 goals against Charlton, and I wasn't sitting there thinking, "Oh, he's the next best thing at the academy. He's the next Brandon Pierrick." I was like, "Whoa! We don't want the next Brandon Pierrick coming through, because the hype around Brandon Pierrick is what really hurt his chances."
Yeah, true.
Whereas with Jez, we've seen him progress very well in the 23s this season, and he's got 2 runouts in the Premier League. Albeit, I think Vieira would want to give him more, but if you blood a player that's young and doesn't know the league and he makes a mistake, the fan base can switch on a young player, even if he's a homegrown player. You know how football fans are. They're remarkably fickle when it comes to mistakes. Like Trent Alexander-Arnold last night had, by his standards, arguably one of his worst games. And you had a lot of Liverpool fans admitting he wasn't great. I'm not trying to compare the two, but you know what I'm saying. When you see players have bad games, it's not difficult to go, "He was rubbish, he was crappy, he was this, he was that." But okay, but let's be fair. He's not Jordan Much, and he's not Adi Akinbaye. There are levels to how crap you can be.
Yeah.
We got Day0000. So you're saying, "Evening, lads. Evening to yourself. How you doing?"
Evening. Good evening.
But just quickly, we'll finish up on Watford before we move into the next game, which was a big game. But just quickly touching back on Brentford. Remember how they said that Vieira was De Boer Mark II? He won't get a single point. He got a point in the second game, Dan. Tell me again.
Well,
De Boer Mark II, yeah?
I don't know. The whole when those shouts were coming out initially, I won't lie. Initially, I did think, okay, maybe Vieira is a bit of a left field decision, but I never really understood the whole De Boer thing, because De Boer tried to play a totally different type of football, whereas everyone was slating Vieira for being too much like, supposedly too much like Roy at Nice. But there you are. One interesting going back to the Watford game. One interesting thing I remembered it, and I googled it, was after the game, Vieira's post-match interview, and I think this is a good theme with Vieira that I've noticed throughout the season, is that he's always, I think because he's a young manager, I think he's always looking to improve. Do you know what I mean? Like after the game, he said that we lacked determination and aggressiveness in taking our chances, and that's why we didn't beat Watford. Like we created the chances, we just didn't finish them.
Mm.
And I think he's, or I think anyway, since then at least, he's drilled that into the players. Like what he said about being determined and aggressive when they need to.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And losing 1-0 away at Watford, it's never great. It's their cup finals. So beating us is like the pinnacle of their season and all that falafel. But the next game, a London derby away at the taxpayers' stadium, the taxpayers' paradise, London Stadium.
Yeah,
Um, I don't like this stadium because I still can
no,
see Andy Carroll's bicycle kick in my nightmares. Hell of a goal. Don't get me wrong; it was a hell of a
yeah,
goal.
that was an awesome goal. It's that stadium is one of the worst. It's probably the worst stadium I've ever been, like football stadium I've ever been to.
I've been to Loftus Road. I think Loftus Road is slightly worse in my opinion, but this is the beauty of being football fans, mate. We can agree to disagree. Needless to
Yeah,
say,
true.
though, um, this could have gone either way because in the first half, from what I can recall, we got peppered. We were getting
Hmm.
spliffed up, we were getting served up, rolled up, smoked up, eaten up. Everything was just getting not going our way. West Ham should have been clear of us at half time, but they weren't. It was 1-0, I think. 0-0, 1-0, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It was only like a goal in it. If anything.
And then we get a goal back through Conor Gallagher. We've scored a goal. So the last vestige of Frank de Boer comparisons had left the building because
Gone,
Palace had scored. Um,
gone.
and then West Ham score again, and then Gallagher scores again, and it's 2-2. On the face of it, I'd say that was a fair result. It's a frustrating
Yeah,
result because we really needed to get a first win out of the way. But if you'd have offered me a draw with Brentford and a draw with West Ham, with how we were trying to slowly learn how to play, how we'd go on to play, I think most Palace fans would have said, you know what? It ain't the ideal result because we're expecting 4 points out of 6 from those two fixtures. We still got something from those fixtures, albeit not the ones we wanted.
yeah. I think so too. And like you say, on the face of West Ham as well. Like last season, can't remember exactly, but I think they finished like seventh or eighth last season.
Mm.
This season they finished seventh again. Like a point away at a team who has finished seventh or eighth in 2 seasons in a row. That's not bad going.
No,
Um,
not at all. Just quickly to
so
big up to
yeah,
Hamza, who's in the building. Big up yourself, mate.
big up Hamza.
Hope you're well. JC here is saying the London Stadium ain't too bad if you're lower tier, but anything upper tier, that is an L.
Oh,
I
last time
mean,
I went, I was in that upper tier, man, and you needed binoculars. Like if you need glasses, if like thankfully I've got decent eyesight, but if you need glasses, mate, there's no point. Like there's no point.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, I do need glasses. So note to self: don't go upper tier West Ham away.
Yeah,
Um,
go lower tier.
yeah, well, that's if I can go, but we'll see how we fare when the fixtures come out next month. And JC says just quickly, we nearly nicked it at the end of the West Ham game, and to be fair, like I said, it could have gone their way in the first and could have gone ours in the second. So on the balance of it, you'd argue it's that old adage of two halves, a game of two halves.
Mm,
It was that old chestnut. But so we're going to wrap up August very quickly. So one loss, two draws, well, two losses technically, but one loss in the league and two draws after 3 games of Premier League football. So 2 points out of 9. Not a great return, but there was progress to be made out of the Carabao Cup in August. Don't think anybody really lost sleep over that. What would you make of August under Patrick Vieira, Dan? What would you rate it as out of 10?
Out of 10, I would maybe give it maybe a 6 because I wasn't disappointed with it, but I wasn't like overly impressed.
Mm.
Um, like you say, I was expecting to lose against Chelsea. What League Cup? I'm personally I'm not asked about. And Brentford West Ham 2 points out of those isn't awful, but it isn't the best.
No, not at all. Not at all. Um, so September rolls around. Odsonne Edouard joins on deadline day, and
Yeah,
everybody's excited to see this striker that we signed from Celtic because if you watch him at Celtic, a lot of people like to talk about, the Scottish League is a Farmers League. Maybe so, but a team in the Farmers League has a European Cup, and some of the biggest teams in this league don't have a
don't.
European Cup.
This is true.
So I'd be a little bit more respectful to Celtic if I was talking that way. But Edouard comes in, and top of the league, Tottenham Hotspur, who'd won 3 out of 3 in the Premier League prior to their visit to Selhurst Park.
Yeah,
Um, it's fair to say nobody saw a 3-0 win for us coming, because I think that's when you could say that was the change of gear. That's when you realise,
yeah,
wait a minute,
100%.
something's going really well here, because we've beaten Tottenham at home before, 2-1 under Alan Pardew, where Punch, I think it was Punchin scored the winning goal. I think
Not sure. I can't remember that one.
it was Pardew's first game in charge.
No, okay, I can't. I can't remember. I need to. No, I can't remember that one.
Uh, so yeah, but we've beaten Tottenham at home before since we've been back in the Prem. We're still yet to get an away win against Tottenham in the Prem. We got one in the Cup, but again, that's the FA Cup. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dan, talk to me. The penalty. Now, I feel for Ben Davies, because he's not in any way, shape, or form gone to put his arm out to flag a bust down. But you put your arm out like that, and the ball hits it. In this day and age, it is handball. Now, normally you look at it and say, well, is it really? But he's put his arm out to stop the ball. Maybe unintentionally, but his arm is out there enough for it to hit his arm, and the penalty is given. Zaha sticks it away 1-0, and you're thinking, oh my God, we could win this.
Mm.
Edouard comes on, one touch, two touch, goal. You're thinking, holy crap, Dougie Freedman actually pulled off a good signing. We've actually signed a competent striker that isn't Fraser Campbell. Stop the news, people. Stop the news. Um, but talk to me about this 3-0 win, Dan, because this was kind of like a result that we never saw coming, but we're so happy we did.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I've got on here on my notes I wrote down is literally Palace's awakening. Like you say, we found that extra gear. Um, like the um the numbers are like incredibly impressive in terms of chances created. We created more expected goals against Spurs than Man City did, which I think is
Wow.
mad impressive.
Mm.
And Spurs only, I mean, obviously, I know that they went down to 10 men, but they only created 0.1 expected goals against us, which is a league low for them. Um, they didn't create fewer chances against any other team than against us in that game.
I
Um,
remember that they hit the bar as well, if I'm not mistaken, in the first half. They hit the bar at the Homesdale, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Not
think
the
so.
bar in
I
the
can't.
Homesdale, people, but the actual crossbar. I don't mean the bar in the Homesdale, for clarity.
Saying that some of those shots they took, from what I remember, they might as well have ended up in the bar. Might as well have.
Well, they probably
Um,
hit some old Doris up the upper end of the upper Homesdale. You know how it is, bro.
yeah, especially if it's like Eric Dyer trying to take a pot shot from about 40 yards out.
Mate,
Um,
trust me.
but that was also, yeah, obviously, like it was Edouard's debut, and I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe he now has the fastest debut goal of any player in the Premier League ever. I
Yeah, I
believe.
think so. Yeah.
I think because
Something
it was
like
like,
70, between 70 to 90 seconds since he came on the pitch and he scored.
yeah, that was it, and obviously his first goal for Palace as well.
Hmm.
Um, and it was actually Elise's debut as well, which I actually totally forgot about until I looked it up.
Yeah.
But I think that was when, like you say, that was when we really kicked into gear with that 4-3-3 formation. Jimmy Mack on the left, Conor Gallagher on the right, Wolf Zaha on the left. I think Jordan Ayew started that game on the right, and it was just working. It was just working so nicely.
And Zaha and Tanganga having that little
Yeah, that was it.
little
Got
tiff that
booked.
was,
Did Yeah, he got booked like twice in like 5 minutes, I think.
yeah. We'll
Ki-
talk about the reverse fixture and Zaha deciding to return the favour. We'll talk about that when we hit December. But
yeah,
next up, a trip to Anfield, a very, very unhappy hunting ground. Um,
yeah,
and obviously, we know that Sadio Mane has got a very big fetish for scoring against Crystal Palace. But this was not like most
thankfully,
trips to Anfield, Dan. This was very
no.
unusual in that, admittedly, we did lose, but even Jurgen Klopp said that was a hard 3-0 win, which you don't really
Mm.
hear many managers say is a hard. If you're winning 3-0 and it was a hard 3-0, you're thinking, steady on, what do you mean by that? But to hear him praise how well we played, that was kind of for me like, do you know what? We were well beaten, but we by no means were disgraceful. Like you
Oh
flip
yeah,
back to a year
definitely.
before, we got piped.
Mm.
It was just painful. And then obviously the game we won't talk about, but you see the transition. We've gone from being just hope to God we don't get beaten to have a
Yeah,
go of it, make something happen. But just before we continue, the chairman here has said Kane didn't have one touch in our box. Mate,
yeah,
his
yeah.
Oyster card had more touches in our box than he did. You know them ones. His contactless card, his Oyster card, you name it. His Nectar card, whatever it is you want to call it, they all had more touches than Harry Kane. But conceding from corners and set pieces was a big problem at the start of the season, as this game proved. So
Oh yeah.
talk people about this 3-0 defeat to Liverpool.
Well, every single one of the goals came from a corner.
Mm.
Um, particularly, and I think this might have been. I don't like having a go at particular players, but I think this might be one of the reasons why we didn't see Riedewald play for quite a long time as well.
Yeah,
Like it was just silly. It was just silly things like, for example, like in his example, for example, he was standing on the 6 yard box watching Mo Salah, and then they take the corner, and he just lets him run past him. He lets one of the best forwards in the world just run past him and not even challenge for the ball. Things
yeah,
like this, and if other things like Naby Keita's goal, for example, they could have come and pushed out towards the box. They could have pushed out the box much quicker. Okay, it was a very good goal from Naby Keita, but they could have given him less time on the ball to have that shot.
mm.
Maybe make him think, oh, I can't. I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to pass it instead, or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just big lapses in concentration, and like you say, that was a running theme which we'll come back to as time goes on.
Well, listen, it's that old adage of if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. And this is the thing, we had to
Well,
make those
exactly.
mistakes. Don't get me wrong, we were all upset and annoyed about it, but we're all saying, you know what, it's building to something better. But you know what, just take it as it goes. No point in trying to make more of it than it was. But we then had a lovely little meeting with our friends on the south coast, and yeah, I'm still upset about this game, and
Yeah,
it's way past September now. So, but I think on the basis of it, if you look at the chances that weren't taken from Palace's perspective, you can't sit here and not say that we didn't deserve the draw, because if you don't take your chances, you don't win the game. And there were chances there we to be had weren't taken. So we can't really sit here and go, oh, but we should have won the game. True, but we didn't. Why? Because the chances we didn't take, we let go begging, and we got punished for it. It was very much the reverse of the game at their place the season before. They annihilated
mm,
us. Waves and waves and waves of attacking pressure. We break on one mistake from their midfield and we get the winner against all
mm,
expectation and against the run of play. But I think we can look at this and say that was them at their best, and us getting used to how we're playing, and they still couldn't beat
yeah,
us.
100%.
And since Potter's been manager, he's yet to beat Palace. Touch wood. Now, obviously,
Love that stat.
he is a good manager, so I'm not ruling out that it may come. But I think it says a lot that even under Roy Hodgson, this man struggled to break down a Crystal Palace team that looked about as threatening as a puppy.
That's that is a bad stat. That is a like as a manager, I would be absolutely gutted if I had a stat like that.
And I hate admitting it, but he is a good manager. So it's mad when you think that he's had so many big results since he's been their manager, but the one game of the season their fans want him to win more than any, he's failed to do it on a number of occasions. But
Hmm.
yeah, let's talk about this. So the penalty that we got, I don't think anybody really could argue with it.
No, no, it was a penalty. I don't remember anyone even. I don't even remember anyone even saying at the time, "Oh, it wasn't a penalty." So
Yeah, Jordan Ayew has a glorious chance at the homestay that skids well wide of the post, and you're thinking,
classic.
is this? Don't. And then We all know what happened. Mopai gets a very, very, very generous dink, goes up over Gahey, up over Guaita, into the back of the net. He cups his ears in front of the family stand, and he's officially become a superhero for them lot. But to be fair, if the shoe were on the other foot, we'd have been celebrating whoever had scored a goal like that for us in the last minute. So we can't really sit here and say we wouldn't do the same. But
Well, yeah.
it was hard to take. It was really hard to take.
I think for me, that was probably the most gutting result this season. Just because of like you say, like the way it happened, who it was against, and them not giving it the big one before the game as well. Oh, we're one striker off Europe, all this nonsense, and
not even that. It's Sky Sports. Brighton and Hove Albion have the chance to go into the top 4 should they beat. I'm sorry, not should they. When they beat Crystal Palace. When they beat Crystal Palace, we haven't played yet. When did they beat us? I must have missed this. Man, this stupidness I'm seeing, but
the disrespect. It's just disrespect, isn't it?
Trust me. But 1-1. I have it down on my sheet naively as 0-0. There's a few typos on my sheet, people, so don't worry. I do remember the correct scores, but 1-1 draw, annoying, but it's Palace. It never goes to plan in these kinds of games. Yeah. The emotion of these games probably makes us want it too much, and I felt that way after the game. I felt I wanted it too much, and I think everybody in the stadium wanted it too much. And that's when you get hurt the most, is that when you want it so much, you're not prepared to just let it go a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, on the face of it, like you say, when you take the emotion out of it, we play very well. Obviously, we gutted to concede a goal in the last minute, but I mean, we also did that in a later game as well. But this one, like you say, hurt more just because we wanted it so badly.
And it's against them lot. But
exactly,
listen, you learn from mistakes, and my word, there have been some mistakes this season. So moving into October, and we welcome Leicester City to Selhurst Park.
I was just say, talking about mistakes, Leicester City.
Yeah. But the chairman here is just saying, at this point of the season going into October, we were still unbeaten at Selhurst Park. Which, let's be fair, we don't get to say very often, because home games I'd say the last 4 or 5 years under a number of different managers, we kind of knew we were getting beat. Even if it was against the team in and around us, we were never confident at home. It was away from home. We felt like, we can do something. But to be unbeaten at home 2 months into the season, you're thinking, we don't do this. We're crap at home. What's going on? It's brilliant, but it's going to end. And obviously, it did end, but bear with me here. So, this is one of those games where you're 2-0 down and you're thinking to yourself, but how? We're the better side. Yeah. What's going on here? Now, obviously, the short answer is that there's 2 poor lapses of judgment by Joachim Andersen, and to be fair, the others in the back 4, because all 4 of them weren't really switched on at key moments, and Vardy and Iheanacho combined punish us as you'd expect them to. That's why Vardy's got a Premier League title in his trophy cabinet. Do you know what I mean? He might be getting on a bit, but he's still a player that if you give him the opportunity, he will hit the kill switch, and he did exactly just that. The 2-0 at half time, and Vieira makes subs that I think saved this game in Schlupp and Elise coming on. And oh my word, the change of pace around the way we played, it was just like, there's only going to be one winner. And even the commentary team was saying, this is not going to end in Leicester's favour, because we battered them from the start of the second half right to the end. We got the 2 goals, 2-2 draw. It's a bit like the West Ham game.
Yeah.
Could have won it in the second half. Probably could have been out of it in the first half. Even though for the majority of the first half, we were the better side. And Leicester fans were saying as much on social media. They were saying, we've been terrible. How the hell are we 2-0 up? But then there's a game on my birthday that I was really pissed with. But before we get into the Arsenal game, we're going to briefly let you do some Leicester stat review. So what were the defining factors of this Leicester City game, Dan?
Well, I think it was literally just those 2 Anderson mistakes. And I mean, but the thing is, and because I feel like maybe I've been a bit negative so far, but I think one thing when I went to the concourse at half time against Leicester, I still thought that we could win this game or we could draw this game.
Yeah,
Under Roy, I would never think, even though I think we actually did go one time 2-0 down to Leicester and then brought it back. But anyway, I know like under Roy, if we went 1-0, 2-0 down, I kind of thought, okay, like that's it, you know.
yeah,
But
mm,
half time of this Leicester game, I genuinely thought we could bring this back, we could win it.
mm,
And for Vieira to now make me think that Palace could, you know, do this is crazy.
for
And
sure.
yeah, like you say, the subs are excellent. I think they both scored as well.
They did.
Schlupp and Elise both scored. So I think, like I said earlier, I think this is Vieira learning because he's a young manager. I feel like it's him learning.
For sure, for sure. So we move on to the international break happens, and international break is it gives us a break from football and the stress of
Mm.
watching Palace concede silly goals. And then we go away to face Vieira's former club, Arsenal. Obviously, he gets a very warm welcome from the Arsenal fans. Of course, he's an invincible. He's obviously the title-winning captain of Arsenal, FA Cup-winning captain of Arsenal. And I'm not going to lie, we went 1-0 down from a fairly questionable defensive error where you're thinking, wait a minute, it's one thing that Arsenal did well to take that chance, but why are we
hmm
giving them the freedom to take that chance?
hmm
Aubameyang puts them 1-0 up, and you're thinking, oh, don't let this be under Roy, where Arsenal battered us something like, what was it, 4-1, something like that.
Yeah, 4-0 down in like 30 minutes. I think it
Yeah,
was.
that was my fear. This was like, please don't do another one of those. But it was so different because it goes in. They go in. What was it? 1-0 up at half time. Conor
Yeah,
Gallagher
1-0.
somehow doesn't score. You're thinking, oh
hmm
my god, fair play to
Not our
Ramsdale.
day.
That was a hell of a save. That we got
hmm
to give the boy a biscuit. That was a phenomenal save. But you're thinking, we're well in this. I had Arsenal fans who I'm close with both in London and over here texting me saying, "How are you not in this game?" I says, "You're telling me." I'm sat here going, "What's going on, man?" Do you know what I mean? It was mad. But
Yeah.
Edward scores the first goal. Or no, sorry, no, not the first goal.
Um,
No, it wasn't
think
Edward that scored the first goal. It was
he scored the second one. Zaha.
oh yeah, it was Wilf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Wilf gets the equaliser, and you're thinking, yes, come on, 1-0, let's go, let's go.
hmm
Edward then gets the second, and at
Oh,
2-1,
I was going crazy. I was going crazy in the
bro,
Emirates.
that
Like,
was
I
on
was
my
just going
birthday. I
mad.
was thinking, I'm going to
Oh.
get 3 points on my birthday. What a present, bro. What a present. I was so. Oh, no, sorry, shame. Was Benteke got the first goal. Sorry. Well done, Chairman, for pointing that out. Um,
Oh yeah, good shout.
yeah, and then out of nowhere, 2-2. And people were saying, why didn't the referee blow up? Listen, when it goes to like +3 or +4 in stoppage time, that's a minimum. Not the maximum allotted time. It's the minimum time they're going to let the game continue to. And you play to the whistle. Lacazette gets a last-minute equaliser, and obviously the Arsenal fans, they've won a trophy. Drawing with Crystal Palace now is a trophy to certain Arsenal fans. And I mean, big up Troops, because I just loved his fan account because he goes, "We haven't beaten Palace at home in 4 years. Big man, we've been shocking the last three." That's that
Yeah.
that's the funny side of it. It's not like we've been good in the last 3 years. We've been pants. Do you know what I mean? It was just like
That's
we've been awful. So like that's not a compliment to us because we'd be gassed with a point away at Arsenal normally. But in this game, I was like, my birthday's not ruined, but so close.
it was say it's gutting, isn't it? Like literally the last kick of the game. Half their stadium had left. Half their fans had gone home. It was literally
Oh,
the last
you
kick of
see
the
what you did
game.
in disguise.
Yeah,
think back to
exactly,
think
exactly.
back to 2013, mate. I can't believe they had fans leaving. I get why they left in 2013 about the playoff semi-final. That would have hurt me to see us 2-0 down to them at home in the
Mm,
second leg. But stay and
yeah,
support your team. Like their team got to the semi-final for Christ's sake. Granted, they didn't
well,
get over the
exactly.
line because we did. But more point is that that was a moment where you just saw Vieira put his hands to the floor because he just couldn't believe it.
hmm
because
Well,
we
yeah.
deserve those 3 points. But
Well,
you get what you
yeah.
get in football. And if you don't take chances and if you don't close games out, you're liable to drop points as we did. Big
Well,
up to Football
exactly.
United TV.
Big
He's
up.
saying, big up, guys. Big up yourself, my bro. Neil. And then the chairman here says that goal hurt so much. I'm not going to
Definitely.
lie. It did. That was my 29th birthday. Not ruined because we didn't lose, but it's just like, yeah, Nate, happy birthday. Nice one.
I've
Nice
I've
one.
still got it. I've still got it replaying in my head, like just like watching it from the other end, seeing all the well, I say all the Arsenal fans, half quarter of their stadium that was still left, just cheering. I was just like, oh, for God's sakes, we could have taken a nice scout there as well, and it was
Yeah.
just. And I think one of the reasons why Vieira was a bit gutted was because he shouldn't have brought Tompkins on for Edouard. I don't think
No, but
he
I see
went.
what he was trying to do. I don't agree with what he was
Yeah,
doing, but you could see the rationale.
logic. Yeah. 100%.
Albeit,
I can
it,
see the
albeit
logic.
it is, tactically speaking, it is naive to take off an attacker at 2-1 up, put on a
Yeah.
defender who's arguably fairly rusty. But listen, he played the cards he was dealt with. If Vieira had his way, Martin Kelly, James Tompkins, Yak, arguably Joel Ward, Nathaniel Klein wouldn't be Crystal Palace players this season just gone.
Yeah, true.
Because let's be fair,
Jack.
they're not here for the long term. They're not here for the length of this Vieira project.
No,
If we
true.
have
Well, yeah,
somebody
they'll
say
be
like,
gone.
if we had say someone hypothetically like Max Aarons, who's a great attacking fullback, and Aaron, who's a great defensive right back, you've got both sides covered. And
Mm,
then you bring in somebody that's a bit more defensively shrewd, like other than Patrick Van Aanholt, to help out Tyrick, and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, we've got fullback cover in both areas. You bring in a
hmm
couple of centre backs that have got pace, and you're thinking, right now, because let's be fair, Martin Kelly gets fried by half the league. James Tompkins gets fried by half the league
Oh, definitely.
because
And
they
like they
don't
all
have the
get
pace to catch up.
well, exactly. They're old and okay, and you wonder whether maybe like are they really up to that? Well, Tompkins maybe Kelly has he ever really been up to that like first team Premier League standard?
I
I'm
think,
not
do
too
you know
sure.
what? I think Kelly has. I think people are very harsh on Kelly because there was a time where he was one of our best players.
Hmm,
He just never got a solid run in the team because we continuously had arguably better defenders in his position. But let's say we
true.
don't sign Mamadou Sakho, I think Kelly would have been the ideal replacement for Damien Delaney. But Sakho fit that role of big, strong, hard lump at the back that was Damien Delaney.
Yeah.
Sakho was the arguable step up and upgrade of Damien Delaney. But let's get back on
Hmm
track here for a second.
Yeah.
No, listen, the whole point is that we go over things and we can talk about things. But Newcastle at home,
Yeah.
this one didn't hurt as much because I think it was a fair result. But it's the manner in which
Yeah.
the draw came about because Callum Wilson scoring a bicycle kick on you, you're like, fair play. If you can score a goal like
Yeah.
that in any game, it should be winning you the game. So I'm not going to be salty and go, oh, for F's sake. But it was just like 1-0 up. Easily playing the better football against a team that looked destined for the championship.
Yeah. And I
And then
remember
Callum Wilson just
the
whips it into the back of the net with a bicycle with an
mm,
overhead kick, and you're like, it was bad enough with the Giroud scorpion kick. Now we've got to live
hmm
with this because we've had Kasami, we've had Giroud, now this one, Andy Carroll. It's literally like, do you
Jermaine
know what it
Defoe.
is? Jermaine Defoe. If you need to score a worldie, come play charity professional football club.
Yeah. Yeah, you want goal of the season? Come to us Park.
Come play charity professional football club. But
But yeah, I think
one
you're
all,
right. Yeah.
1-1. I don't think there's much to talk about that one because, as I said, I think it was a
Nah.
fair result. They weren't
Yeah.
great. We weren't great. Both teams kind of cancelled each other out, and we kept it moving. But
Yeah. Pretty
this is
much.
the game that
Oh,
changed
mate.
everything. Manchester City away. Now, people, Dan, you know me long enough to know I was not confident remotely. I thought we
No,
were going
me
to get
neither.
put in a spliff. We were going to get smoked, hammed. We're going to be made into jerk chicken, jerk pork, jerk everything, jerk lamb, everything. We was going to get plated up like a proper West Indian funeral. It was not going to be pleasant. But lo and behold, Vieira weren't having none of it because we get a very early goal through Wilfred Zaha. Laporte gets sent off for arguably a fairly soft foul, but to be fair, if it
it,
is, it's a last man foul. It's like,
well, exactly.
don't be doing that. And yeah, City down to 10 men. Gallagher gets the second with a great assist from Elise.
Hmm.
Yourself and JC were there.
Yeah,
Um,
it's quality.
what is it with us and City?
I really don't know
There's
because
always
and
a
the weird,
big team that don't like playing us. Because remember, it was Liverpool for a small period. This is
yeah,
before they transitioned into the monstrous team they are now. So you're
yeah,
looking at it
yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
like some people dying out on the whole. Oh, we stopped winning the league in 2014. No, we didn't. Chelsea did.
Chelsea did that. Yeah, Denver Bar did
Yeah,
that.
and I'm going to level with you. If any of our fan base are celebrating a draw, there's the
That's
door.
so. Yeah, I'm not. I
And the
wasn't about
fact that
that. I'm
that
not
was
gonna lie.
voted as our game of the Premier League history is like, no, no. Why didn't the Leicester game 5-0, Newcastle 5-1, Sunderland 4-1, West Brom,
Yeah,
what was it, 5-1, 6-1, something like that?
yeah. I went for Arsenal. I went Arsenal 3-0, but the 2016 one. I think 2016, something like that.
17, yeah. I
17.
remember it, yeah. But you see
That
what
one.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
pick
yeah.
wins that are iconic to your club. Like
Right, exactly.
West Ham away 2014, where we guaranteed a second season of Prem football. That's an iconic
Hmm.
fixture in our history. A draw? What?
Yeah, I'm not about
Nah,
that.
man, get out of here.
And you know what? I think this result, the Man City one, I think it will go down because I think it might not necessarily in the sense of like it did anything massive for us, but I think it'll be a nice like a flag. I want to say a flagpole, but I feel like that doesn't sound right. But like a nice flagpole, like a nice marker of like what Vieira's brought to Palace. Like in his first season, he got an away win at Man City after they were just decking everyone left, right, and centre.
Kept a
And the
clean
thing is,
sheet as well.
yeah, it kept a clean sheet. And the thing is, as well, like even if you look at it like statistically, which normally these kind of things would favour like Man City and Liverpool, they created chance, like in the sense of like they created chances, but they just didn't finish and blah blah blah. But they actually created the same amount of chances as us, exactly the same. I know they were down
Mm,
to 10 men, but to create the same amount of chances as Man City is like that's commendable. That is like incredible,
yeah,
really. I think. And
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Just quickly,
yeah.
we're going to say big up to Brush, who's saying large up to
Big
myself
up,
and Dan.
Brush.
Big up yourself, Brush. Hope you're well,
Big
my
up, mate.
bro. Obviously, Don Rich is in the cut
Yes,
as
Rich.
well. He's in the
Big up.
background, just taking it easy. Big up to yourself, Rich. Hope you're well, mate. Um, yeah, so before we quickly move on away from Man City, so if you look at it from August to October, that's only 2 losses in the league, Chelsea and Liverpool.
Hmm.
Unbelievable,
Yeah,
unbelievable,
and
and that
but
that that's
both.
that's unheard of for us.
Yeah, definitely, and both away as well. So still haven't even lost at home.
Exactly, exactly. So Wolves in November. Now, when we play Wolves, I'm always worried that we're either going to be really, really good or we're going to get absolutely mullered
Hmm.
because Wolves are a funny team to play because they can look really great on their day and they can be really awful. But to quickly pass through this, 2-0 win. As far as I recall, Wolves weren't particularly. I mean, I think Wolves were pretty much kind of trying to just get out of the way. I think they were more focused on the next game ahead. But
Hmm.
a solid win, 2-0 win at home, kept the unbeaten run at home going and couldn't really fault it, really. Anything else to add
Yeah.
to that one?
No, not really. I think that's pretty spot on. I think it's just another nice continuation of just our system just working very well after a very nice away win at City and then a very nice home win against Wolves.
For definite. But this next game, this next
Oh,
one,
yeah. This one is
ah,
like this one is the beginning of the wobble.
yep. This is when
Wobbles.
things went from there's your Palace to there's Palace.
There's Paz, yeah. Oh, there we go. Here's reality
Yeah,
again.
it was like soul to soul. Back to reality. Burnley away,
Exactly.
3-3 draw. Now, on the surface of it, Turf Moor is never a nice place to go. It's very
No, I
much,
don't.
it's a bare pit of a ground. You
Hmm.
know what to expect when you're playing Burnley. They're not going to be trying to play you like Barcelona off the pitch. They're going to make it difficult. But
Hmm.
for a 3-3 draw, it was a fairly haphazard scattergun game. It was all over the
Yeah,
place. You're
it
like,
was,
what's going on here?
and it was like I think it was 3-2 at the end of the first half as well. There was only
Yeah,
one, so it was just a mad first half, and then second half corner equalised, but even then that was like pretty quick. So you got like 40 odd minutes of like actual like okay rigid football.
yeah,
But I thought, I think the reason why is because we didn't have Jimmy Mack, and we didn't, not necessarily that we don't have anyone who can necessarily play like he can,
mm,
but I think they hadn't thought about that, if that makes sense. Like, if
yeah,
he got injured, who would play there, or how would we play? And I felt like it completely unbalanced the midfield. Like he tried playing Koyate in Macca's role, and like as much as I like Koyate, and I think he's like really good defensively, going forwards, he's not your guy. He's not your guy. There's
Well,
a
I mean, I
reason
think
why he
most people
plays.
would have taken Checky over Luca because had Luca been starting that game, you would have heard everybody proclaim that the world was ending and we're getting relegated. We're going to be playing Charlton next year, and all of these mad takes that I'm thinking we can't play Charlton for at least 2 years if they don't come up out of League One. So calm
Hmm.
down, Christ. But before we continue, big up to the UK Pat who says big up the panel.
Big up
And,
UK Pat.
and referring to the Wolves game, he says that 8 Nuri was annoying that day. Sign of a
Yeah, I
good
remember
player.
that. He is
It's
a
a
good
sign of a
player.
good player. If they're annoying you, that means that they're up. I mean, to be fair, Tyreek Mitchell was annoying a lot of teams at the end towards the whole of this season just gone. I even had a couple of Man United fans asking me, "Oh, I beg we give you 15 million for Mitchell." I went, 15 million. Uh huh. You sure about that, big man? We ain't no Charlton, you know. You need to be spending money to get our players now. And seeing as you've broke up Zaha and you're mashing up Wan-Bissaka, I'm not really eager to sell him to Man United. But yeah, no, 8 Nuri in the Wolves game. Listen, I'd love him at Palace if we could get a player like that. So you know,
He is a good player. He is a good player.
but the UK Pat says he was diving though. Yeah, but I mean, Wilf a few times over the years has done it, and our fan base are quick to deny that he does. So everybody dives, mate. Some are better than others, but I mean, Robert Snodgrass looking at you because I'm still pissed he got a penalty for Hull in that ridiculously bad 3-3 draw. Because Scott Dan's
That's a
meltdown
throwback.
no, but you know what I'm saying. You look at it and you go,
Yeah, yeah,
"That's a
yeah. That's
dive."
a throwback. Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
dive. You know. But yeah, he was diving though. He was diving. But listen, let's be fair. Sometimes we've seen our players go down easy and we're like, just get up, stop it, just get up. No need for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, just get
But
on with it.
after this Burnley game where Vidra very nearly made it 4-3, but thankfully Guaita decided to not go full Wayne Hennessy and actually put the ball in and get the ball into a safe area. Villa at home, the unbeaten run comes to an end, and I
Yeah.
think most people couldn't complain because they weren't brilliant, but we weren't remotely at our best at home. And to be fair,
No,
on the day, John McGinn ran the show and they won the game 2-1, and I think it was a fair reflection of the game
I think
itself.
so. I think so.
Um, and
And
listen, it was better to lose it to Villa, where we don't have much interaction with Villa. But
yeah,
had it been a big team, it'd have been like, "Oh, we stopped your unbeaten run. That's great. Wow, delighted for you. Well done." The Villa fans were saying, "Listen, you guys are a good team. We'll see you at Villa Park at the end of the season."
yeah,
It was kind
yeah,
of like they got the points, fair play. We were disappointed, but we could see you need setbacks when when you're starting as a newer team in order to progress. You're not going to learn from being dead good at home and there's no fall off. Look at Liverpool. They used to lose games sillily at home before they went on that massive long unbeaten run. I'm not saying we're going to do the
hmm
same, but you see the correlation. You need to
yeah,
make
yeah. You
mistakes.
need to learn. Yeah, exactly. You need to learn. I
You know,
think for me that Villa game I thought was our worst performance of the season. Actually, I think. Um,
I mean, I'd kind of disagree and say Tottenham away was worse.
true, true. That is a
But
contender.
I think at home, you're right. That's up there for one of the worst games we've had at home for a while. But how refreshing is it to say that though?
Yeah, exactly.
Go back this
Uh,
time last year, we'd have been saying we will crap this game, crap that game, crap this game, crap that game. We'd be listing them off like a Christmas list.
yeah, exactly. Like there's like several contenders. Whereas this season, to be fair, besides the Villa game and the Spurs game, I can't really think of a game where we played terrible. To be honest, I felt
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we were like unlucky or whatever. Um,
But speaking of another defeat, because this is the second in a row. Leeds
mhm.
away, 1-0, last minute penalty. Nicky famously got clipped, but to be fair to Nicky, he's a passionate Palace fan. I know that myself. I took him to his first game, playoff final 2013. He fell in love with the club after that. And I'm not going to lie, so sloppy from us. Needless to give away a penalty like that. But Mark Gay's a young man. He's never played in the Premier League before he joined Palace this season. And again, mistakes have to happen if you're going to learn from it. Obviously,
Well,
on the
exactly.
face of it, it's annoying to lose to Leeds because their fan base, by and
Or
large,
an
kind of
or
insufferable.
annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it was best for us that we lost that game because it made us want to win our next game at home more. But we'll have to quickly touch on Ralph Ranierick's first game as Man United manager because,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
I
not gonna
didn't think
lie.
they were very good. Well, I don't think either team was particularly good. It just took a long, well, I say, yeah, a long distance goal from Fred to win that game. I don't think either team really deserved anything from that game, to be
No,
honest.
but see, but Jordan Ayew's miss proved to be costly because knowing that we'd gone to Old Trafford the three previous seasons and had avoided defeat in all three occasions,
Hmm.
the confidence going to Old Trafford was very much thinking we can go to Old Trafford and get a result here because we've done it the last three seasons on the bounce, draw, win, and
Mm.
a win. Now, obviously, those
Yeah.
kind of things have to come to an end. And in fairness, I can't really argue it wasn't the greatest of games, but Fred's goal should win you a game of football. I'm sorry, as much as it was one of those games you're like, that's such a shithouse goal to concede. If you get
Mm.
to the 3 points, you don't care how it goes in. If it goes in off quite as us, United fans won't care. It's in. It's in the back of the net. No,
Well,
but it's true though,
yeah,
isn't it?
true.
Do you know
No,
what I mean?
that's bad. That's true. That is true.
But then there's this game in December. The three L's on the bounce. The whole fan base is in meltdown. Vieira's lost the plot. Get rid of him. It's Frank de Boer Mark II. Rare te 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 te. Rafa Benitez has Everton come to town. And I'm fairly certain Conor Gallagher was taking souls as well as ankles that game because he had 6 and 7 men looking like they were all at sea. He was all over the place in a great way, don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was
No,
the
he
game
was
where we saw Conor Gallagher step up and say, I'm here to make a difference.
100%, and his final goal as well was incredible. Like
Yeah,
that's outside contender for Palace's goal of the season, definitely.
yeah, for sure. I
Um,
mean, the first goal, from what I remember of it, fairly scrappy, but we got it in the end. James Tompkins
yeah,
gets the second.
yeah,
Rondon then pulls one back, and you're thinking, "Ah, oh, don't do this, Palace. It's charity professional football club season. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know it's
yeah.
nearly Christmas, but don't do it, please. Don't make me annoyed, please. I don't need this." Gallagher then puts an absolute belter in the back of the net, and you're thinking, "Okay,
Mm.
cool, cool." But
And I thought that was Will Hughes' first start as well, and I thought he had a very good game that game
hmm.
as
And
well.
apparently, remember, 6 million was a better deal for Watford than it was for us. Apparently,
and
Dan,
now
can
now
I
he's
just say
got.
that again, please? Just let me say that again before I let you continue. £6 million was better for Watford than it was for Crystal Palace. Are you sure about that? Because you got to remember, Will Hughes is thinking about the energy bills, Dan. Does somebody think
Yeah.
of the energy
Oh no,
bills?
no. He's got Nans on Twitter on strings about their energy bills.
Mate, but that's how you know that fan base is tapped because all he's doing is pointing out the difference between a well-run club and a basket case club. We're a properly run club.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like
Like we don't have.
we've had two dances with administration. We can't be having a
Hmm.
third one. Do you know what I mean?
Well, exactly, and we don't have managers going out the door like it's on a rotating platter. Like, oh, here's the next one. Oh, 2 weeks later, oh, here's the next
If it
manager.
was Simon Jordan, I think that would be the case because Simon Jordan was a bit cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo.
Well, yeah, he's still like that on Talksport, I think it is. But yeah,
Yeah, talk crap. Yeah. But
yeah,
um, yeah, Everton 3-1 at home. I think that was one of our best home performances of the season.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Arguably, Everton were poor because Benitez was doing everything he can to sabotage Everton. And
Agent Benitez.
yeah, I mean, look, in fairness, we've seen this happen before. I mean, remember when Holloway went to Millwall and they had an absolutely horrible season? There's us thinking, Agent Holloway, you've done well. And we've seen it happen with Charlton as well. Ian Dowie, we
um,
took your manager. How'd that work out?
and of
Mm-hmm.
course, most recently with Agent Roy as well.
Ah, yeah, but listen, him going to Watford, that was just, that was him just
That
doing what
was
we want.
yeah.
That was Steve Harris saying, "Listen, I don't want to see this lot again, Roy. Just take them down. Take them down. They're already drunk at
Yeah.
the wheel. All you got to do is just make sure that the ship goes down.
And
Get on the
I'll
last
give it,
lifeboat, Roy, and sail away into the sunset as you deserve."
and I'll make sure Will has a laugh and a joke with you as you leave the pitch after you relegated them.
I mean, you just love the irony, the shithousery, don't you?
Oh,
He
it's
wasn't
brilliant.
asked that he lost his relegation record against us. He was happy. You know what I mean? He was like, well, I thought we was terrific, and I thought that Wilfred Zaha was one of the best players on the pitch, and I'm really happy that Crystal Palace got the win today. Meanwhile, the Watford fans, how dare he say that about Palace? He's our manager. Rah, 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 rah. It's like, whoa, you're playing Luton next year. Relax. You get your cup final next year. Calm down. Calm down.
Brilliant.
But UK Pat, just quickly, you're saying our agency. Listen, you know what it is. We have to make sure our rivals get a little taste of reality because, I mean, Charlton aren't really our rivals as such, but they're still banging on about 2005. But the last time we played them in the league was 9 years ago, Dan. 9.
Really?
Next year will be 10.
Wow. I never thought I'd see that day. To be fair, because normally, yeah, that's mad.
Not really. I mean, they've been in League One more than we have since the 1980s. So, like, they
True.
can be the biggest club in South London all they want, but I've never seen my club in the third tier of English football.
Well, they're only the biggest club. Well, quote unquote biggest club in South London because they won the FA Cup before their granddads were born. Their great granddads were born.
Yeah, but small victories and all that. I mean, let's be fair, they're just a train station near Woolwich now, so it is what it is. But let's get back on track.
Right,
Southampton at home, James
Southampton.
Ward-Prowse.
Yeah,
This
I
guy,
mean,
mate.
but to be honest, both of their goals were just you can't really do a lot. I don't think it's just one of those, isn't it? They
Well,
scored
I
two.
think Armando Broja should have been booked for diving, personally. I don't think that was
Mm,
a foul leading up to their free kick, but that's just
true,
me.
true, true.
Um,
Yeah, no, true, true, true.
but 2-2, I think, again, on the face of it, couldn't really argue with it. We weren't at our best. I think the early goal had kind of hit us at the wrong time, much like England in the Euros. It's great to score
Mm,
early, but it's kind of a poison chalice. If you score early, you've got to score again. Otherwise,
yeah, you can get a bit too relaxed, can't you? A bit too complacent.
precisely. The UK Pat just quickly references, he says, 9 years in the Prem and we seem to be still not respected. I wouldn't say that as such. I think other fans from so-called rivals don't respect us because they're still talking about, oh, but you've won nothing. I even seen a Charlton fan point out our FA Cup run, which we'll touch on very shortly. You got to beat what's in front of you. We beat
Well,
a major
exactly.
rival in the third round. We beat a League Two side in the fourth round. Beat a Championship side in the fifth, a Premier League side in the sixth, and lost to another Premier League side in the semi-final. Anybody would have snapped their hand off for that kind of a run to the semi-final. Sorry, but if you say otherwise, you're lying. So I let them stew. More importantly, let's get back on top. Let's get back on track. Southampton 2-2 draw, arguably
Yeah,
fair result, like much like Newcastle.
yeah, I think so. To be honest with you, I don't actually remember a lot of this game. Um, I only really remember I don't even really remember our goals. If I'm to be honest.
Wilf scored
Um,
early, and then Ayew got the equaliser. That was about as much as I can remember.
yeah, it was a bit of an, like I say, it was a bit of a, for me, it was a bit of a nothing game. The
Yeah, a
only
bit of a
thing, yeah,
non-event.
yeah, the only thing worth pointing out was that we were losing at half time, which is something which in the conclusion, I think is something that I think Vieira is addressing slowly.
But again, you need to make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
We until we look. Our friends on the South Coast are doing this all of the last 2 seasons, dropping silly points week in, week out, and we were laughing, loving it, going, ha 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 ha, they lost again or they bottled it again. But now we're realizing, oh crap, now we know
No,
what
it's
they were
us.
going through. Do you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
good to be in that position because we're excited to watch our football team again, Dan.
Mhm.
I don't care if
100%.
Palace lose because I know we're going to play well. If we get beat, we'll beat them by the better team. It's not a case of we lost to a team that had less possession than us. How? We saw more of the ball and we still lost to a team that will get relegated. That's what we were putting up with the last 4, 5, 6 years. Um,
Yeah.
Tottenham away, Boxing Day. Let's get this one. Let's rip the band-aid off. Zaha gets sent off, loses his head, acts
Yeah.
the maggot. Tanganga
Yeah.
gets revenge, put in a spliff. I don't really want
Yeah,
to
that's
say
it.
too much about it. We just deservedly got
No.
beat.
Yeah, 100%. We were terrible. I wrote
But the one
down.
little caveat I would say was great to see was
Mhm.
Nathan Ferguson coming on, albeit for a very,
Yeah.
very brief cameo. But look, it was good to see that he'd finally put on a Palace shirt in the senior side and made his debut for the club.
Yeah, 100%. That's going to be a collector's item, I think, sadly. It's a shame because I was really hoping that he would push on. And I think the fact that that's the only time he's mustered some minutes this season is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I mean, if, and I do mean if they discover that they can make him out of something very, 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 very not brittle, because that's what he's made of bloody paper mache. That kid. Hopefully that will change this pre-season. But the UK Pat is saying, I'll say it again, Wilf is better than James Ward-Prowse, and he's saying it with
Oh,
chest.
definitely. Oh, definitely.
I mean, I don't think James Ward-Prowse has had many England call-ups. So for all this talk of him being a great midfielder for England, I think he's the Hampshire version of Mark Noble. Good for his club, but England quality, I don't think he's getting in ahead of Jude Bellingham and the like. Sorry.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Maybe a few
Definitely
years
not.
ago, sure, but now. Wrapping up December, Norwich City at home.
I
3-0
think,
win.
yeah, right. It's
Norwich.
against a, yeah, that when I watch that game, Norwich are like championship level, aren't they? I
Not
think,
even that, bro. Because the thing is, like I keep
yeah,
saying, they're too good for the champ, but not good enough for the Prem.
yeah, exactly. And I think 3-0, it's just run of the mill 3-0, done, dusted.
Yeah. So that's the end of 2021 reviewed. I think overall, if you look at it, that's not a lot of games that you'd say we were terrible or we were awful. There's a couple of games we were a bit Villa at home and Tottenham away, maybe Man United
Mm.
away, were three not so great performances and poor performances. Um, the UK Pat just quickly references that the Norwich fans pretended to celebrate a goal. Hey, that used to be us. Remember,
I remember
we
that.
we
Yeah,
used to do that.
I thought it was quite funny, to be fair to them.
Listen, when you're down that end of the table and nothing's going for you, you've got to find something to make the day a little bit less painful. So, I appreciate it, but yeah, don't come back to the Prem for a couple of years. Yeah, just don't come back. If you want to give us Todd Cantwell and Max Aarons, I'm all for that. We're glad to take them off your hands. So January kicks in and FA Cup draw is made, Dan. Now you know
Yes,
FA Cup time of the year. You're always excited for the FA Cup third round draw because you never
always,
know
always.
those dream cup ties that make you salivate, that make you question. Are you going to go home to the missus tonight or not? You're thinking, please just give us a cup tie to get excited for. And Millwall comes out the hat, and you're thinking, surely not. And then Palace come out next to Millwall, and you're thinking, did,
Oh!
is this the rehearsal draw? Because I don't think they realise what this means. But the draw is made obviously in December for the cup game. But we played West Ham at home just before that, and this is one of those games I'm mystified as to how we lost. Obviously, half time 3-0 down, it looked to be dead and buried. But that second half, how we did not at least get a point is mystifying me.
100%, 100%. We were so good in that second half, and in terms of the chances we created overall in that game, that was our third most chances created in one game in the whole season.
Yeah. Just quickly, the UK Pat is saying that Fulham are equal to Norwich in terms of they're too good for the Championship but not good enough for the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd kind of say Fulham are better prepared for the Premier League because they actually have spent money, whereas Norwich have relied on a lot of players that were there the last time they were in the Prem, and they naively stuck with Daniel Farker. Sorry, folks, a little bit of a conversation behind the scenes there. Sorry. Yeah, I'd say Fulham are slightly better than Norwich, but they're in that same bracket of they're not quite Premier League standard, but they're probably too good for the Championship. I mean, if you're slapping teams 7-0 in the Championship, that's kind of saying a lot, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You're right there, Dan.
Yeah. No, I was just reading something.
Okay. The chairman here says Fulham spent £100 million and should have done better. It's not what you spend, though, it's how you spend it. That's the thing. It looks great if you're spending £100 million, but if you're not putting it into practical use, look what happens. I mean, look at it. Hull and
Everton.
Cardiff spent more than us when we came up in the from the Championship, and Cardiff went straight back down, and Hull went down the year after. Everton spent serious amounts of money and just about stayed up this season.
Yeah, Aston Villa as well.
Well, Villa, yeah, but Villa have kind of got their act together now.
Yeah, true.
So 3-2 loss to West Ham at home. Disappointing, but not the end of the world.
No.
And then we had a little trip across Bermondsey for the FA Cup third round, and I think most people were unfamiliar with how Derby Belly kicks in because this fixture hasn't been played that often since we were last in the Championship. So waking up on the day of the semi-final, or sorry, not the semi, but the third round, I remember going into work that morning. I was just too excited to focus. I couldn't wait for kickoff. You with me there, Dan?
Sorry, Nate, just cut out a little bit there. I've got slightly.
Was I nipping or were you nipping?
No, that was me. It was me. I got slightly nipping, but I'm okay now.
Okay, well, I was just saying. I woke up on the morning of the third round and I was like, "Holy shit, it's Derby Day!" And I was so excited. I couldn't focus on my work. I was just listening to the broadcast on the Palace app. Oh, hang on 1 second there. Oh, there you are. My word, Nippencron's moving mad, bro.
Nippen's moving. What's going on? It's spreading.
Yeah, Nippen's moving mad. But what can I say? 2-1 win. Came back from 1-0 down from a Butland clanger.
Yeah.
Got the job done into the fourth round. Then
100%.
We scored, I think, the best goal you'll ever see scored by a Crystal Palace team. We went away to the Amex on the South Coast to play our friends on the South Coast. I'm not gonna lie, that reaction that you see of me losing my absolute nut when you go, yeah, I don't take that back at all. I'm delighted because that's what it means to me. When we play this lot, I want us to be playing like that, just not conceding stupid Benny Hill defending goals. That's what happened with Anderson's unfortunate own goal. But to be fair, they did deserve a goal at least. But I never thought I'd see the day where an Englishman saves a German's penalty because Butland denied Pascal Gross from the spot. That's my goalkeeper. But 1-1 draw with the Seaweeds, probably not a deserved result because they should have won the game in all fairness. No. But they didn't.
No. I think it swings and roundabouts so in it. Like they didn't deserve anything from the game at Selhurst Park. We didn't necessarily deserve a point at their place. So swings and roundabouts, I guess. But like you say, that goal we scored is for every single player to touch it and then score. Could you ever imagine a Palace team doing that, especially in the Prem?
Well, put it this way: if there was any sensible people out there, they'd put an 18 rated on that and put it on Pornhub. That's how good that goal was. But the UK Pat says Mitrovic is the definition of a championship striker. I mean, not quite. I see the logic because in the Prem he hasn't really hit the numbers he should do.
I think he's got potential. I think he could in the right team.
He's no Timu Pukki. That is a championship striker. We've got William Tavares. Big up to you, who's saying Botafogo and Palace.
Big
Vamos
up.
Botafogo every time.
Bom dia.
Bon Gia, that's right, Bon Gia. Not Bonjela, but Bon Gia.
Bonjela.
That's a little joke for the English speaking people. Let's wrap up January with a very questionable VAR
Oh,
decision against Liverpool. Now,
I was
on
fuming.
the face of it, with or without that decision, they still win the game. I can't really be too hung up on it. But you're looking at it thinking, if that's the other end of the pitch, it's not giving us a penalty.
Yeah, and I also personally think, who got their second goal? Was it Oxlade-Chamberlain? I don't know. Whatever their second goal was, Firmino jumps for the ball
Yeah, it was
and is
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
offside. Yeah, I think that goal shouldn't have stood either. Personally, I felt like I felt like we were very unlucky because I thought we played well in that game and we kind of got done out of it.
Yeah, William Tavares here says Boa Tarde.
Oh, nice, but
So that's January wrapped up, really. Dan, what can I say? I mean, obviously in league form, it's 1 point out of the games we played in January. But let's be fair, we didn't lose the game we didn't want to lose, which is the Seaweed game. That was the one game we said if we don't lose that one, it's decent.
Well, exactly, and in context as well, we lost to Liverpool. And West Ham. West Ham were doing very, very well that time. I think they were like fourth at that point.
Yeah.
And so to lose against those two teams is no embarrassment at all.
Not at all. Not at all. So February kicks in, and we welcome League Two Hartlepool United to Selhurst Park for a fourth round FA Cup tie. And this, for me, I think the things off the pitch were more important than what happened on the pitch, because obviously the Hartlepool's manager's wife is going through a battle with cancer, and the club had donated some money towards it, and then the Palace fans, myself included, I'm fairly certain Dan did as well.
Me too. Yeah, I did,
everybody pretty much donated what they could to help this woman's battle with cancer, and that for me was like, do you know what? I don't care about this because that was Sorry, I do care about that, but what I mean is that whatever the result on the day of the game, that's just remarkable. The goal wasn't just reached; it was smashed out the park.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those.
Go ahead.
No, sorry, Nate. I butted in there.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's one of those days that football wins, isn't it? Really?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Jeff Stelling was talking glowingly about us. So if Jeff's talking well about Palace, you know you've arrived. The UK Pat is just pointing out about Mitrovic. Last season that he was in the Prem, he managed only 3 goals. This season just gone, he scored 43. Listen, I get it. His Prem record doesn't correlate to his Champ record, but you got to remember, it's a lot harder to score in the Premier League. Glenn Murray didn't score 30 goals in the Prem, but he did in the Championship. The quality of Premier League striker is very different to the Championship. So is Mitrovic an out-and-out Premier League striker? No. But he's a stronger candidate than the likes of Timu Pukki and Jordan Rhodes and a few other strikers over the years who've been hyped as the next big thing in the Prem and flopped. But I see where UK Pat's coming with that, so I do see what he's saying. So moving on quickly, Hartlepool, football won more so than the actual game. But we did win the game 2-0 into the 5th round, which was kind of thinking, wait a minute, we don't do cup runs. What's going on? But, if you're in the cup, you got to celebrate it. 2 back-to-back draws. That on the face of it, one of them was disappointing because it was against the team that was arguably relegation fodder in Norwich. And we'd somehow managed to concede within the first 45 seconds or something stupid like that. You're thinking, really?
Ironically, Timu Pukki.
Really? We couldn't even go 2 minutes full without conceding a goal. Wow. Charity Professional Football Club really wants to piss me off. I was on a patrol on the night shift, and I thought it was going to be a fairly comfortable game for us. And I see we're 1-0 down. I was like, not good. No,
I hadn't even found a proper stream to watch it on by that point. I just turned it on and we were 1-0 down. I was thinking, oh Jesus.
Yeah, Yeah, Zaha scores an absolute screamer. You're thinking, okay, that's fine. I'll take a point. We
Hmm.
should be winning, but I'll take a point. And then
Yeah,
Brentford,
yeah,
away from home, 0-0 draw. Much like the first game,
yeah.
they played
Brentford
for a
are a good
point. We
side.
played for a point. Kind of got the result we needed. And then Chelsea at home. This one
I
hurt,
thought we were
actually.
unlucky. Yeah, I
This one
thought we were
hurt like hell
unlucky. Unlucky.
because I don't think Chelsea were great.
No, they weren't.
And it says a lot that
And
Lukaku's Oyster card got touched more than he did because he was just awful.
yeah, I'm sure one of the accounts on Twitter put up something after that game about like Lukaku had like I think 4 touches of the ball in like the entire game or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was 7
Um,
touches and one was offside.
yeah, that was it.
But the chairman here is saying that the ground with the worst legroom ever is Norwich City's Carrow Road. I mean, in fairness, it is Norfolk, and the people from Norfolk are a little bit different to the rest of us in the UK, or in
Yeah,
my case,
their
the Republic of Ireland.
anatomies.
Their anatomy
Yeah,
is
their
very,
anatomy is not quite the same, is it?
no, they've all got a very relative look about them, shall we say. Which mystifies me because actually, one person from Norfolk that's actually somewhat decent looking is that former WWE wrestler Paige. You're like, you sure she's from Norfolk? I mean, her skin tone suggests she is, but dude, what the hell? Anyway, um, Chelsea 1-0 home defeat. Yeah, it is what it is. But this next game
Yeah.
was so enjoyable.
Oh, it
Mainly
was.
because, mainly because they were talking about how Will Hughes was going to get destroyed by Musa Sissoko. Emmanuel Dennis was better than Zaha. Watford won, Crystal Palace 4. Roy Hodgson decided, you know what? I'm not gonna see Watford beat Palace. I'm just gonna, you know what, lads, have the night off. Just let Palace do what they want. Musa Sissoko didn't read the script, of course. Said, but boss, we play for Watford. We have to win the game. No, 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 no. We don't play terrific football against Crystal Palace. We have to play rubbish. But lo and behold, Wilfred Zaha stepped up twice. Shout out Pep Guardiola. Twice, twice, twice. Put the ball in the net twice, and yeah, Watford fans were fairly pissed. But the memes on Palace Twitter after this game just had me rolling. Especially that Watford fan. That's why we sold you. Oh shit. Bang, 2-1 Gallagher. It's like, that's why we took your best player. Six
So
million
looking
pounds was
back,
better for them, apparently. Sorry, Dan? I think Dan's been nipping. Oh no. Nippin's moving mad. Oh, shame. Um, oh,
hello,
you're back with me, are you? Mate, you there? Hello?
hello. Um,
Oh, snap. Wow. Nippin. Oh no, Nippin, what are you
the
doing?
the Wi-Fi just like goes for a second and then I'm gone, and then thankfully it comes back straight away. But nevertheless, it means I disconnect, and yeah. Anyway,
Mate, did you jump into 2008 Wi-Fi?
I'm just wait.
Ah.
Yeah, I was waiting. It might be because I'm using Internet Explorer. Hang on a minute.
Oh, help. Oh, Lord. The chairman said, oh, hold on. Oh, no, that's yourself. That's okay. The chairman here says, brilliant day out at Watford. They were terrible. The pub was great. Jordan on the stream on the platform at Watford Junction. Yeah, listen, at least JC didn't have to use TFL's Wi-Fi, even though TFL services do serve Watford Junction, but other services are available. Shout out Ty. Um, let's quickly touch on Burnley, Dan. Um, see, there's been some really annoying draws this season, and this is one of them. It's just
Yeah,
like, oh, for F's sake, should have been a win.
Yeah, and I think again it's just showing like one of our weaknesses has been a bit of a theme through the season in like just in the air. Sometimes we're not quite there.
Vibes, man. Oh God, Vibes is saying Dan ordered a shawarma, but instead he got the shama. Big up Vibes every time, man. We love you, bro. It's
I
all
love
good.
that. I love
He says
that.
he says big up, boys. It's been a good listen. Hey, listen, that's what we're here for.
Cheers, vibes. Appreciate it, mate.
This is
Appreciate it.
us just giving people a chance to talk about the game. Um, so we move into March, fifth round
Yeah,
FA Cup, Stoke City at home. I won't lie, Dan, and I saw your notes because you sent them to me before we came on stream. I'm in agreement with you. I think Stoke deserve to go through. I don't know how we won the game. I know how we won the game, but you know what I'm saying. I was looking at
yeah.
it
I
going,
don't.
we've been terrible.
It was one of those games. I feel like when like a Premier League team goes against a Championship team, they go in with a bit too much confidence. And
Mm,
Stoke, I guess, kind of like us in a way when teams underestimate us or
mm,
have done in the past. Same thing. And Stoke, I thought they wanted it more. I thought they wanted it way more than we did. And
yeah, for
I was
sure.
considering how we played. I thought it was. I'm happy that we got through. Considering.
Yeah, for sure. 1 second there. Just gonna bear with me here. Give 1 second. No, you know what? I'll come back to that in a second. Um, yeah, look, the Stoke game was a strange one, but let's talk about Wolves away from home
Hmm.
because I don't know how this was only 2-0. I
Yeah.
still don't know how it was only 2-0. And it's what, 2 months since this game happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Exactly.
could have been sat here talking about a 4 or 5 or a 6-0 win. We were that
And
good. It was just like, oh my god.
definitely that was so in terms of our expected goals, that was the most expected goals we made in any game this season.
Mm,
I think it was 2.6, but obviously with that could end up being a 3 or 4 nil win. Do you know what I mean?
hmm
And and again, like we only conceded on the other end of it, we also only conceded less expected goals in 7 other games. So not only were we so good going forwards, we were so good at the back as well. We were just dominant all over the place.
mm.
And like you were saying, like how we didn't do better. I thought our shooting stats were very impressive considering I know sometimes that's let us down this season. Nearly 64% shot accuracy, the second highest shots on target in a game this season. Like I thought it went very well, very well.
No, for sure, for sure. And look, 6 points off Wolves. I mean, the first double of the season, and
Mm,
you know yourself when you do the double over someone, it's always a nice feeling knowing that right, that's 6 points that we will look back on and say those are key 6 points
yeah,
because
exactly.
anytime, and bear in mind that was 2 clean sheets against Wolves in both games, 2-0 and 2-0. So
Yeah.
that's very poignant that we got the 6 points without conceding a goal against a very good Wolves side who have got good players and a baby oil merchant in Adama Traore. He should be working for Johnson and Johnson, but a bumps. Not Adam Johnson, you understand, but Johnson and Johnson. Um,
God won't bring up that guy.
no. But that's just little running gag there. Let's talk about Nathaniel Klein in this next game because have they found that 100 million pounds that he had in his pocket after he left Selhurst Park this night? Because that picture that I sent to some of the lads I know, it just had me creasing because he's just like, big man, do you know where you're playing right now? You're in South London, mate. Hold that. He was
Yeah, it was
having none of it.
it was Birmingham versus Stockwell, wasn't it?
I don't know. It could have been any part of the country. These men rolled into South London thinking they was going to just pop it off. And to be fair, they had chance after chance after chance, and they let it go begging.
Yeah,
And obviously, the woodwork intervened a couple of times. But listen, the goalkeeper loves the woodwork. And 0-0, 2 clean sheets against Manchester City, the eventual champions.
can't argue with that.
Only team to avoid conceding against Man City. So when they released their goals of the season just gone, I was like, "Where's Crystal Palace? Oh wait, we're not on this list." It was great, but Now we get to one of my favourite games of the season, the sixth round FA Cup quarter final. Now, when the draw was
Well,
made, I was fairly worried because I knew in the cup, two Premier League teams, the incentive is Wembley, big day out for either side. Everton will be doing anything they can to get that trophy itch out the way. Bear in mind that they still get trolled over it by Liverpool fans. I'm aware there's another typo on my sheet, but hey, like I said, I was in a hurry to get this done, so don't kill me here, people. But Dan, you obviously know that's a typo. Dan, tell me again. What did Lampard say again?
oh well, we only scored. I was going to say we only scored lucky goals, average goals, fluke goals,
Another average goal.
another average goal.
Now, in fairness, I understand that you could argue he's digging out his own players for making it easy for us, so you can kind of see what he's trying to say. But it didn't. It wasn't sold very well because from our perspective, it's like, mate, you lost. I get it. You're annoyed that you lost. You've been a winner in your playing career, but you got tactically outthought by Vieira today. There's no way in hell you could say that your team were the better team. You got murdered on that pitch. And ironically, it was a former Palace player getting injured where the momentum completely shifted because before when Townsend went off, much to the horror of our fans, because Townsend's still very much loved by the football club, you're thinking, anyone but him. Richarlison, preferably. Why Andros?
Hmm.
It's like Yannick Bolasie getting injured. We were like, why him? Why
Yeah, yeah,
him?
yeah,
It was
yeah,
one of
yeah,
those. It's
yeah,
just like, listen, as much as I loved Andros Townsend, his goal away at West Brom and the goal away at City and the goal against Arsenal at Selhurst Park, there's goals that Townsend has scored that you just can't help but say, do you know what? He was one of the best signings we've made since we've been back in the Prem.
yeah. No, I agree, and he was always a very solid player. And yeah, like you say, see him get injured was quite sad. I think. Well, no, was it? Yeah, and yeah, it was sad. And like you saw, well, I had to watch it on a stream, but like you could see all the Palace fans like clapping and off and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, the one thing we don't forget is players that give it for the shirt. I mean, if Jordan Much had been injured, most of the Palace fans would have probably been like, well, he was crap, so
yeah,
unlucky, but we move. But because Townsend gave
exactly.
everything for the shirt, you respect that. The same way with Glenn Murray. When he scored for them lot, it killed me, but I was thinking, to be fair, we now know how they felt when he did it for us. So it hurt like
Yeah,
hell, but
true.
you know, you know what Murray's like. I mean, to be fair, without him scoring against them in the first ever defeat at their stadium, we wouldn't have had the famous F sake Murray. To this day, that still makes me laugh anytime I watch it.
That is a good one. That is a classic.
Oh, it's a classic. But just quickly, the UK Pat is asking any news on next possible videos. Do you know what? I know that JC is going to be doing a lot of the transfer videos on here, as well as his own channel. Myself and Statman Dan, we might have a couple of things to run over. If and when we sign players, we'll be talking about the players that we've let go and all of this. So there will be videos across the summer, but we've got to live, people. So if we take a few weeks away from doing videos constantly, when there's a video to be made, we'll be sure to let you know. But we do have a couple of videos planned. Um, I know that Rich has got a lot of plans for the channel as well. So watch this space. But big up to Sean, who's watching from his
Big
Digicel
up, Sean.
Wi-Fi. He's saying LOL, not too sure what he's laughing at. Maybe it's a joke we had earlier on in the show. But 4-0 win over Everton. Um, Wembley, what a feeling.
Wembley, Wembley.
We've got Super Pat Vieira.
Oh, that was when I saw all the videos popping off.
And then we
Super
got
Pat
that
Vieira.
famous Texter interview, which the
Oh,
boys rang me.
quality.
I was at work, right? And I'm jumping around like a lunatic that we're going to Wembley. So I knew I had to book a flight from Dublin to London for the semi final. But they rang and said, we got Texter, we got Texter. I was like,
What?
you not drunk? How much have you had to drink? What's going on? No, Nate, we interviewed Texter and we interviewed John Salako, and I went, you're lying. You're lying. No, you're lying. So that was a
That
massive
was
moment.
quality. I love watching that.
Listen, but this is the beauty about this football club, Dan. It's special now these times.
Exactly. I feel like we're living. I feel like we're living through a very exciting period. Very exciting period. That we're all gonna look back on in 30, 40 years and think, yeah, you know what, this was a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, if you'd have said to me 12 years ago, this is where we'd end up, I'd have said, you sure?
Yeah. True.
Because that don't sound like Palace. We don't do 10 years of Premier League football, two,
No.
three FA Cup runs. We don't sign players for 27.5 million. Christ, Buff, I can't believe he's still our record signing. We don't spend £20 million on redeveloping our academy. But there's so much positivity now coming from the club over the last 2 to 3 years that's been building to what we have now. You're thinking, what's going on? Where's the misery? Where's the doom and gloom? Where's the fan base demanding that we become the Barcelona of England and all this malarkey that I keep seeing on social media? Now you've got a lot of Palace fans saying, listen, patience, we're building something. Let's just keep it calm. But let's quickly run through the rest of these results. Purely for the fact that this is when the channel made it onto AFTV. Arsenal at home, 3-0.
Shout out, Ty.
No, big up JC. So what do you think of top four, my man? I'm a Palace fan. I'm not talking to you. No.
I love that. That made me crack up so much when I saw that.
But you know what it was? What made me happy was, right, over at our friends at Back of the Nest, the way D was getting disrespected in the AFTV comments. Oh, this Palace fan's so deluded. What's he talking about? Deluded, is he? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
And then, where did they end up finishing, Arsenal? I think they finished outside the Champions League spot. I think
they did. And for a team that's meant to be levels above a lot of teams, don't get me wrong, there are some Arsenal fans out there that call it as they say it. Shout out to Tariq, big up to Tariq every time. Always, big friend of the channel. Sean here is saying, sorry, even John Texter is starting to understand the ways of Palace. I mean, he wouldn't have bought into it if he didn't. And the fact that he pretty much fell in love with watching Ebere Eze against Sheffield United away from home, where he literally danced through the whole team to score. You're just like, no, this kid's special. This is like Ian Wright. This is not just a player that we've picked up on an absolute bargain. This is a player that we're going to be struggling to keep hold of. Him and Elise, Dan, cost less than 25 million.
It's crazy.
To put that into context, that's just slightly less than what we paid for Mamadou Sakho.
That's crazy.
Tell me again that my director of football isn't doing bits at this football club. Not you, but the people that keep slagging Dougie Freedman for a mistake he made when going to Bolton.
I still, you know what? Honestly, I can't think of a Dougie signing that has gone badly, if that makes sense. Like, even the ones that didn't necessarily take off, I think they were all low risk. Like, for example, like players like Jack or like Rackett, like they're all players who are either on next to nothing money, relatively speaking, or were like on some weird like loan deal and it just didn't come off. I can't think of a high risk signing that Dougie's made that has gone totally wrong, ever.
No, but again, that's the beauty of it, is that you're looking at it and you're saying, our director of football is actually doing a madness. Because Michael Elise is not an £8 million player. I'm sorry, but he's not.
No, he's not. Whoever at Reading decided that he should have a release clause of 8.76 million, like he should have got sacked on the spot. Whoever it was, he or she should have got sacked on the spot.
For sure. Oh, well, actually, the chairman brings up a good point. Max Meyer could be considered as a bit of a questionable Dougie Freedman signing. Obviously, Max Meyer came with a big hype because Schalke, and he was lighting up the Bundesliga 1 or 2 years before he left. But to be fair, to sign Max Meyer against all other teams who could have been in for him, and we managed to convince him to come to Selhurst Park, it was exciting to see a player of that caliber come to the club, because it felt like he was just not so much an Attilio Lombardo regen, but that kind of caliber of player where he's playing at an elite top half European club in Schalke, who play in the Champions League and the Europa League, and now he's playing in front of a Sainsbury's. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's given up the Veltins Arena to play in the back of just around the back of a Sainsbury's. Did somebody drop him off at Gatwick Airport and give him the wrong directions? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with that.
But
I forgot
Sean
about him, to be
makes
fair.
a good point here. Max Meyer under Patrick Vieira.
I'm not
Depends how
too
he'd play
sure.
him, though. It
Yeah,
depends how he'd play him.
because before we had Vieira, I was 100% on the idea of like if we didn't play under Roy, he would be playing better. But having said that, Max Meyer hasn't. Well, yeah, actually no. So I was going to say, well, Max Meyer hasn't really done anything since he's left Palace. But then I suppose you could say Roy didn't allow him to develop in the way that he should have done if it was under Vieira, perhaps.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, so the Arsenal 3-0 win, very,
Lovely.
very important win because
Yeah.
it felt like the wrongs of October had been righted. We were comfortably the better side. Yes, they had injuries. Yes, they had players out. But listen, you got to beat what's in
Hmm.
front of you, and we did exactly just that. And you know
Exactly.
you deserve to lose when Jordan Ayew is scoring against you.
Hmm.
That's how I knew we'd won the game. I was like, Jordan Ayew scored. Mateta, fair enough. Mateta was killing it. But Ayew,
That
what?
assist from Joachim Anderson though for Ayew, oh, that was nice.
Sorry, but
He just
remember, some people were
pinged it.
saying, oh, somebody was saying, oh, he got relegated in a poor Fulham team. We're not Fulham.
Yeah,
We're not.
exactly.
We're not spending silly money on players that don't fit the system. We're buying players for our system, of
Yeah,
which he is a
exactly.
key integral part of that system.
Exactly. He loves pingers and mash. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, he's got more pings than Pingu. You know how it goes. But let's um, let's quickly touch on the semi-final. Now,
Yeah.
if we look at the first half, I think we should be proud of how well we played because we matched Chelsea, not necessarily blow for blow, like but like move for move, but we were in the game in the first half. The second half, mate, I'm not gonna lie. Me, Rich,
Yeah.
JC, Nick were there. It was worlds apart.
Yeah, 100%. It was disappointing because I thought Chelsea were there for their taking as well, if I'm to be honest. Like, and I think going into the game, maybe we had like I know like Tyrant Mitchell had issues like going into the game and stuff like that, and I think not having Gallagher as well was obviously a big miss and things like that. But like you say, the second half was far worse than so the second half was far worse than the first half, and I was just disappointed because I thought Chelsea were there for the taking. It weren't as if like they played blinding football or anything like that. You're good, Nate.
Yeah. Just having to deal with something behind the scenes.
I'll
Just run
keep
people
talking.
through the Southampton game
Yeah,
because I have to deal
yeah,
with
yeah,
something
yeah,
for a second. I'm gonna have to
yeah,
jump
yeah.
off screen
No,
for a second.
yeah, no problems, no problems. So yeah, Southampton away, 2-1. This is my first game back in England actually, and I went with my nephew, and this was actually the first and only time that we won a game after being behind. I thought Southampton's goal, from what I remember, was just one of those. I think that was from a corner. I believe it was from a corner, another corner goal. The It was from a corner, and it was one of those ones we didn't defend it very well. Disappointing, and we're behind at first, behind at half time. Southampton aren't very good, but I thought we came back out much better in the second half, and eventually we did wrap it up. Yeah, I agree, Neil. We were very negative. Well, in both of those games, the Chelsea semi final and also the first half of the Southampton game, I felt like we um we didn't we weren't doing what we do normally that won us games. Like for example, against like City, where we just put it on.
Okay, I think Dan's slightly nipping here, so just quickly touching on what he said. Yeah, Neil, you're right. We were just too negative, but Dan, let's quickly touch on May so we can wrap this up a bit because we're touching 2 hours.
Yeah,
I don't want to be here all night.
Yeah,
But
no, that's cool.
Sean here says Southampton. The Southampton win was my favourite Palace win. Zaha proved himself that he's the king of Crystal Palace FC.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there, but older heads who've seen a lot of the so-called greats of the past would probably say there's a few players that are ahead of him. I mean, Zaha's definitely one of our best ever players, but I think he's got a long way to go before he gets past Jim Cannon, because Jim Cannon was just unreal. Granted, he was a totally different era of footballer. Um, but Neil here says Chelsea and Southampton, we had nothing to lose. I'd agree with
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
But this is probably my favourite home win of the season, mainly because what was at stake. Uh, UK Pat, you might be getting timed out for this one. Palace going into administration and are bankrupt or Wilf to beep. I know it's unrealistic. Neither. How about that?
Yeah,
Neither.
Nah.
I mean, let's be fair. Why on earth would he lower himself to play for that mob?
It wouldn't even be realistic anyway. Like that would just never happen.
No,
It would just never happen.
not in a million years. But to be fair to him, it's a fair talking point. Watford 1-0 at home. Wilfried Zaha scores a goal that relegates Watford to the Championship. Now,
How that is poetic justice, isn't it? Poetic.
I'm not one to love irony here, but who won the penalty that got Palace promoted against Watford?
Wilfried Zaha.
And it was Wilfried Zaha that scored the penalty that relegated Watford. I mean, granted, those two results were 9 years apart and everything, but they were both in the month of May. That's just awesome.
I just like the worst part is like they started getting on at Wilf after that playoff final for winning a penalty. That was definitely a penalty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Listen, Cassetti had a brain and Weeabix that game because you knew, you heard it when Eagles dead commentary, they were saying, get at him. Wherever he goes, just stay on him. Because he was swapping wings every time. Whoever was on the wing, he was swapping with. But Dan, I'm not sure if I can add the comments. Just copy the link into the chat for me if you can. So people want to jump in and have a chat with us before we wrap up. We'll let people chat. So can you just stick the link in there for me?
Yes, I'll just do it now. 1 sec.
I've forgotten how to do it from here.
I'll go on to. Wait 1 sec.
So just before we go, people, Dan's going to put the link in the chat. So if you want to jump in and have your say, we'll give you the time to give us your view on the season that it was. We've got 2 more games to talk about, and then the floor will be yours if you want to have your say.
I had to. Oh wait, is it in there?
I don't see it.
No, I thought I'd just done it. Wait 1 sec. I had to go just like watch it on YouTube and then post it.
Have you just put it in on your account then, just like in the comments? Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can remember how to do this.
That's weird.
Oh yeah. No, I've done it.
There you go, done it. Nice. Don't know why it wasn't letting me post that. That was really weird because I commented, but it wouldn't letting it. Oh well, never mind.
No, so people, the link is now in the chat. There you go. It's right there for you. So if you want to jump in and have your say, by all means, jump in with us because we're eager to hear what people think. But Dan, just to wrap things up, Everton away. The quicker we get this one out the way, the better. But let's be fair, 2-0 up.
They wanted it.
Way too comfortable, way too lackluster in the second half, and they wanted it more than us, and they deservedly got the points.
Yeah, 100%.
Unfortunately, it didn't cost Fat Frank his job, which would have been the perfect way for that game to finish. But we move. And then there was this game, which, okay, in the grand scheme of things, meant nothing to us. They got Europa League, but first ever home win over Man United since 1991.
It was a nice feeling as well because let's be honest, no one likes Man United, do they?
I
Like
mean,
no,
no, not really.
like no one likes the team. No one likes. They don't. I don't think they've got any particularly likable players. So it's just that bit sweeter, isn't it, when you play them?
For
Um,
sure, for sure. But Dan, as a man who loves his stats, just remind us again. How many clean sheets have we kept since February at home?
believe it's 6.
That's Man City, Arsenal, Leeds, Man United, Everton, and I
Let's
think I
have a
might be
look.
missing one. I think it's
I
5 or
think
6.
yeah, something like that. Let me just. Did you say it was since February?
So the
So
last time
since
we conceded a goal at home was away. It was a home to Chelsea. Since then, we haven't conceded a goal at Selhurst Park in all comps.
um, Burnley was the last one. One. So Man City, Arsenal, um,
Leeds,
Leeds,
Everton,
Watford.
Everton in the FA Cup.
Oh yeah, Everton. So how many is that? Is that 5?
Man United, Everton, Leeds, City, Arsenal, and who else did you say?
So sorry. So City, Arsenal, Everton, Leeds,
Watford, Man
Watford.
United, 6.
6. Yeah, 6. No, I mean I don't know the last time we've done that, but again, if you had told me before the beginning of the season we would keep 6 clean sheets at home on the
In a
bounce,
row. Yeah.
and I'll be like, hang on a minute, what have you been taking? Can I have some?
Oh, for sure, for sure. But listen, 4 defeats at home all season, Dan.
That's crazy. And considering 3 of them are against the teams that finished in the top 3, that's that's insane, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, we only lost to Chelsea, Liverpool, Villa, and West Ham.
Oh yeah,
Um,
West Ham. Sorry, yeah, not City.
no, so City didn't even score a goal against us.
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah,
They should have, to be fair. At Sellers Park, they should have. They
yeah,
peppered us, but we moved.
definitely.
Not doesn't look like anybody wants to jump in and have their say. And bear in mind, people, the window is closing. So if you want to have your say, now is the time to jump in. Because me and Dan, we've been on stream a bit too long now. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong,
been been
it's
talking
been
a
a
lot.
great show. I've really enjoyed doing this. I think we'll do more of this. Um, we'll probably do another one like this at the end of next season, hopefully, if we're still in the Prem. Because don't tell your chickens, people. But um, Dan, overall, like the part of me is saying this season was a success because we had a lot of great games this season. There's been a lot of good moments this season, but the FA Cup, to be fair, in a way, it's been a letdown because I felt we could have done a bit more in the Chelsea game, but their quality just shone through. But I will say, beating Millwall was my highlight of the cup run. I
Yeah,
don't
of the
care.
cup run, definitely.
Obviously, getting to Wembley, meeting Rich and JC, and having a big day out at Wembley was wonderful. But to win the local derby, the one game of the season that we don't get every season, so the fact that it came around, it was extra special. To win it away from home was everything. Because I just thought, don't care what happens now. We beat them lot. All I care about. I don't care if we get battered by City, Liverpool, Man United, whoever. We beat Millwall in their own backyard. That for me meant everything because gotta remember we haven't played them in 9 odd years. So it's like
Yeah,
they're
since
a thing.
20.
They're a
Yeah,
thing.
since 2013,
Yeah,
and
0-0 draw.
like you say, like we haven't played them in so long. We don't like them. They don't like us. You got to win a game like that. And I just really wanted to show how much of a gap there had been created between us and them in those 9 years, to kind of say like, you know what, this is where we are, and this is where you'll never be, and that's it.
Because if they had been where we are, the winning goal wouldn't have stood because of VAR. But it's only at Premier League grounds, which the Den will never be. God.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it.
And you know what? Funny enough, yeah, when I flew over for the semi-final, I got the train up to London Bridge because there was no train to Victoria, so I had to pass the Den going back to where I was staying.
Ah.
So I gave it the proper middle finger when I seen it. I went, "Get this shithole out of my view! Why am I seeing this crap?"
Every time I get that train to London Bridge, I always say the same thing. Always.
I mean, look, anytime like if I because where I was staying, it's on the line from London Bridge towards Streatham, so it goes up Tulse Hill and that, so it's going up that end.
Mm.
So you're passing through like South Bermondsey and Peckham. So when you see the Den as you're on the train, you're just like, why do I have to look at this godforsaken shithole? Just get it out my face. Get out my face, please, please, please. Just go, just go. But just before we go, Neil here is saying, "Great show, lads. Enjoyed it. Lots of great memories." That's what
Thank you,
this
Neil.
season is all about.
Well,
You know,
exactly. That's it.
I mean, this channel has grown so much since Rich invited the three of us, myself, yourself, and JC on. I mean, I'm amazed we haven't been cancelled because you know how YouTube works these days. You say one thing and you're gone forever. Wouldn't shock me, to be fair, but I think most people know that this channel is a genuine, heartfelt channel where we talk a whole heap of nonsense, but it's from a good place because we love our football club.
Exactly. Exactly.
Dan, before we go, tell them where they can find you. One second, let me just clear that out of the way.
So you can find me on my YouTube channel. That's my main thing at the moment. I don't do the writing as much anymore, so it's just down to 10 as it is on there. You can find me on Twitter as well. On the YouTube, I basically do tactical and statistical analysis, not just Palace. So the one that's coming out on Monday or tomorrow is about will Czech Decore fit in at Crystal Palace. So I'm hoping I don't jinx that one because I think he'll be a great signing for us. But last week I did about Erling Haaland at Man City, and next Monday, so the Monday after, that will be about Arsenal and their set piece taking and how they're actually quite good at it at the moment. And that's where you can find me.
Very good, very good. Well, you know where you can find me, Eagle Eyed Nate, on Eagle Eyed Football Talking Ish is coming back probably during the summer because there's nothing else to do. Dan, I think you and me could have a regular little show here about stats and talking about this game, that game, the whole lot. I
Yeah, that'd
do
be
have a
nice. I
couple
enjoyed
of
it.
I do have a couple of down memory lane games I want to bring up just to keep the Palace content rolling. So Stockport is one I want to talk about because how big a game that was for the club.
Hmm.
I have a very I'm looking forward to talking about a couple of games from the 15-16 season, which of course was the famous cup run. And then there's Roy's first season in charge, the Chelsea home win, the Leicester home win. Then there's
Hmm.
that away win at Leicester where Sacco put that ball into the top bin and Kasper Schmeichel was spinning around like Kylie Minogue. Woo! You know, so I've got a few ideas that I'll run by you when we're backstage having a
Lovely.
production meeting. But people, it's been wonderful. It's your boy Eagle Eyed Nate. It's Statman Dan. Sorry, that way. I've just done a JC.
You did a JC.
I did a JC. I'm not used to the way the cameras are angled, but yeah, no, he's that way. Yeah, he's that way. There we go. Got it right this time. But as it is, people, we're out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Up the Palace.
He goes.
1 second. Gotta get the ending out of the way.